In the midst of a global crisis, with billions of businesses shut down, stands one man who has the skills to save your bills. He's on a mission to let businesses know how they can grow.
If you're a business owner, what does everybody want more than anything else? So I want everybody to say, cha-ching!
He'll take on your taxes, increase your cash flow, and coach you to success.
Gotta make yourself look human. Once you start helping these people like that, you're gonna give people experience.
Albert Corriers, the Taxman.
So today we're going to talk about do not start your business until you watch this. That's right. Why you don't want to start your business? Because we're going to show you the systems and processes I put in place after working with 19,000 business owners over the last 39 years. You see, I'm going to show you what they all have in common. We're going to show you what it takes to take your business to the next level, to avoid paying extra time or money, and worse, getting an IRS letter. Now, thank you for showing up. Because you showed up today, if you text Taxman to 26786, Taxman to 26786, you're going to get my 28 simple hacks I use to grow my multi-million-dollar business. You see, I have a real office and a real business in Hialeah, Florida. Just Google Albert Corey Tax, and you'll see I have a real business and I pay rent. So now, the first two things we're going to talk about is 2 reasons why you want to register your business. That's right. We're not going to talk about 2 reasons why you're going to have to go on the state Department of Corporation. It doesn't matter what state you're in, whether it's Florida or Alaska or Hawaii. They all do it the same way. You go on the state division of corporations, and you go start to register your company. In future videos in our master classes, we're going to show you the techniques that you need and the terminology you need to get your business registered. Now, the first 2 reasons why you need to start and register your business. The first one is liability. You see, liability is probably the most important one you need, because when you register your company, you do everything right. You as an individual disappear. It's almost like having a baby. That once the baby is born and you register, and you go on the IRS and get an EIN, that's an employee identification number, you as a person will almost disappear from the business. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so please go and ask legal advice. This is just my opinion. So here's what happens after you open up the corporation. You get the EIN number. It also works with an LLC or sub-S company. So what happens is once you get it open, now your personal assets are not at risk. Meaning if something happens, they should not be able to have to go over you on your personal tax return. So how could this equate back to you? The best example I talk about almost every day is if you're a painter. So you're a painter and you started Miami Painting Company. You're painting somebody's house, and now you spilled 3 gallons of paint on a brand new Maserati. Okay, and it's going to cost $75,000 to fix. Well, guess what? You're a startup. You don't have any extra money. So if they try to go and sue you, they're only going to sue the value and assets of your company, which means is whatever you have in the bank at that time or what you have in value for your company, they can only get. They cannot go after your house. They cannot go after your car. They can't go after anything in your personal bank account. They can only go after what is in the company's name. And that, like I said, that could be very important. All right. Or here's another good example of this. is you go and rent a warehouse, or you rent a warehouse, or you rent a store in the middle of the mall. You just start to get open, and then COVID hits. This happened to some of my customers. So you open the store, COVID hits, and I got one even better. You have you open up a office. You open up a catering company, right? And it was a banquet facility. COVID hits. In some states, you still cannot open up your place. Well, guess what? The bills mount up. Now the rent goes up because you're paying $5,000 a month, goes up to $60,000. You can't pay the bill. So now you just walk away. The owner, in most cases and in most states, they can't come after you personally. So they can go after the company, and that's why the liability. That's why you don't want to have it in your name, so they don't come back after you. Now, another reason why is you want to look bigger. Now, some people say, hey, Albert, why do you always say that? Because in the world of business, two things. You got to be able to stand out in a noisy world. Okay? You have to learn how to stand out. And one of them is you want to have a business name. So on your business cards, let's go back to what I was saying, your Miami Painting or your Miami Painter Inc. So there's so many painters out there that just say, Jimmy's Paint Job. And guess what? Chances are people are gonna go to Miami Painting Inc. because you look bigger. But I think one of another biggest reasons why you want to be incorporated or have an LLC is that if you are doing wholesale of products, there's a lot of companies out there. Okay, there's a lot of companies out there that they won't sell to individuals. They're only going to sell to people with companies. There's even some states that will tell you that when you try to get a sales tax or sales tax certificate, that they will not give you that certificate until you show them, until you show them that you're a business. You have to go through all the hoops to show me that you're business. Then the state will give you the sales tax card, which is what's going to be needed to a lot of wholesalers. That's one of the reasons why that's another reason why you want to open up the business, either a corporation or LLC. So now, because for showing up today, we got some pretty awesome gifts. If you text Taxman to 26786, that's Taxman to 26786, you're going to get my 28 simple hacks I use to grow my multi-million-dollar business. Like I said, I have a real office and a real store in the Miami area, and I've used these almost every day to grow my business. Every day. And if you ever want to get a free consultation, if you text Taxman to 26786, that's Taxman to 26786, you'll be able to get our free consultation. So right now, we're going to start to talk about the 4 types of business entities that people use in the US and around the world. So I'm going to explain to you what they are, the good and the bad about them. So now, let's start off with the most simplest one you can use. It's called sole proprietor. A sole proprietor is just about anybody can go and start a business. Okay, you just go out and you start to go out and do it. This could be a painter, it could be a mechanic. You could start making baked goods and sell them on the street. It can be almost anything. In fact, most realtors are sole proprietors. If you sell insurance, almost every single kind of business out there is sole proprietor. The good thing is it doesn't cost you anything to get started. You just go out and start to do your business, start making money. But now here's the bad thing. As a sole proprietor, you will not get the elevation if you pay to open up a business like an LLC or a corporation. B, and if something happens, they can come after you and they could start to sue you personally. As you're going to find out later, and as we talked about earlier, when you're a corporation or LLC and done right, there's a good chance they cannot come back after you personally. They can only go in after the company. But a sole proprietor, they can come after you directly. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is a DBA or fictitious name. DBA means doing business at. In some states, it's also called a fictitious name. It does the same thing. It sometimes could be a little bit better than being a sole proprietor because you can be a sole person, a sole proprietor, but you're going to have a cool name to your title. Let's go back to a painter, the example we gave earlier. So you could be like, my name is Albert Corey, and I can go and pay and get a DBA and I want to go sell yellow shoes. So now I can go to the state of Florida or in your state and fill out the papers, and you can start calling yourself Yellow Shoes on your business cards, on all your information. That's what a DBA or a fictitious name does. But here's the downside. Okay, yes, it's going to be cheaper to open up a corporation or an LLC, but you as a person are responsible for anything happening. As the example I said earlier, that as a DBA or fictitious name, if you spilled paint on the back of, on the top of a Maserati, an $80,000 job, $80,000 repair, they can come after you personally. There's no way out of it. They're going to come after you. So DBA or fictitious name is not that good. I don't use it that often unless somebody wants to change the name, in which case it's sometimes cheaper and easier than having a new business, starting a new business. DBA or fictitious names can also be used with corporations or LLCs. The only time I use them is, here's a great example where I am Corey and Associates Professional Services. That's the name that I registered with the state of Florida. Now I'm starting Taxman Productions. So I can go out and put all my cards and put Taxman Productions, and my parent company or my dad is Corey and Associates Professional Accounting Services. So I'm going to sound different, so I'm going to look cooler, but my parent company or my dad, as I like to say, will still always be responsible for what I do. Business owners, are you looking to increase your cash flow that will write the ticket to get what you want in life? Look no further. My name is Albert Corey, and I've been in business for almost 39 years. Next year will be my 40th. American business owners last only 10 years. I've done this 4 times. As an accountant, I have over 107 systems and processes in place that I made over 7 figures consistently. Want to learn my almost top secret systems? You can by texting Taxman to 26786 or visit freegiftalbert.com. So now the next one that we're going to talk about is a sub S company, or as an 1120S when you file a tax return. This is the one I tend to use more often with my clients. It's the reason behind it is you're going to get the protection as a corporation, which is very good. You only need one partner, which is also good. And you can use it for almost any business. I've always recommended this to my startup business people. It's startup business people, because if you are a painter, and I'm always going to keep using this as an example, statistically, you're not going to be making $250,000 out of the box, and you're not going to have a lot of shareholders. So the one definition of a sub S company is you can make up to $249,000. You can have up to 14 shareholders. And the beauty of it is you can be a shareholder of one. If you make a profit or loss, it will transfer over to your personal return on a called a K1. A K1 is similar to if you get interest in the bank, it will roll over directly to your personal tax return. And you're going to pay money on that. You can also, like I said, you can start to take the losses. The downside is you cannot have no foreign investors on a sub S company, and you really can't use it in most areas if you have real estate investment. Well, that's not true. If your real estate investment is over $250,000, then it won't work. So depending on the area, so it won't work over $250,000, or you want to have more than 15 partners. More than 15 partners, you can't be a sub S company. So now the next thing we're going to talk about is an LLC or a limited liability company. You see, what's cool about this is most people are using them for real estate. That's the biggest thing you can use them for real estate. You also can use it for if you can have foreign nationals. That's also good for foreign nationals. And you can make as much as you want. You can have as many partners as you want. However, here is some of the downside. The downside is you must have two partners to make it really work effectively. Because an LLC, just like a sub S company, is going to give you a K1, which is, like I said, is a dividends or interest sheet. I guess the best way to describe it is it's just like getting interest in the bank. And that passes over to your personal return. You also can take the losses. Okay. You also can take the losses of the return. So LLCs are good. But here's the problem of most LLCs. You see, the average person who opens it up, and they tend to do it on their own. I see this every day because they don't want to pay for a professional to open it up. So what's going to happen is it now becomes what they call is a single member. It comes a single member LLC. I am not a fan of this because everything is now on your personal return on the IRS form called Schedule C. So what a Schedule C is it's on your personal return, and you put how much income you make and how much is your profit or losses and whatever you make. You see, the IRS, after doing almost 85,000 returns, I've noticed a trend that they can go out and track anything on a personal return. They really can't track what the K1 is. They can't track the K1, even on the LLCs or sub S companies. They would have to go and audit the parent company, whoever issued the K1. That's never happened in almost 90,000 tax returns. That's never happened. So, so I wouldn't be worried about it. But if not, it goes on a single member, and you open yourself for the IRS to check your return. That's why I'm not a fan of LLCs if you're a single member startup. I tell people that you need to be a sub S company. However, here is one of my little trade secrets that most people don't know about or they don't say this in the blogs and online, that you can now convert this into a sub S company. That's right, where you don't need partners, or you just can be a partner of one. But the trick is you fill out a form called a 2553. If you have any questions or comments on how to do this, this is almost beyond the scope of this presentation. If you go and text Taxman to 26786, that's Taxman to 26786, we'll give you a free consultation and we'll go over exactly how to do the conversion. We do this all the time for people who open them up themselves. So now, the final thing we're going to talk about real quick is corporations. You see, corporations, I'm not a big fan of opening up corporations for my clients for several reasons. Well, the good part of a corporation is, you just can open them up. It's one of the simplest things you do. You just go on your state and you open it up. You really don't have to, you just got to show who the president is, and that's it. Another thing I would like to tell you is whether you open up a corporation or an LLC or even a sub S, because a sub S is really a corporation that you're going to go send in the 2553, which makes it have that special characteristics. So now what the corporation is, I'm not a big fan of it, because if you make a profit, then you're going to pay 25% tax on the money. It doesn't pass through. Also, in most states, when you have a corporation, they're going to charge you more state income tax. You see, they're going to charge you more state income tax. And if you make a loss, then it cannot transfer back. Okay, it can't transfer back. So if you're a startup, okay, and a lot of people are startup and you lose money right away, or you just don't get it out, then, then it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I'm not a big fan of, I'm not a big fan. Well, that's it for today. Like I said, my name is Albert Corey. We've been doing this for this is going on my 40th year, which we lasted 4 times more than most businesses. If you have any questions or comments, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you could always leave it below. This is us going to be on JDTV. You want to work with us, you just got to go to Taxman to 26786. That's Taxman to 26786. You can also follow us on all social media. That's albertc360.com. That's albertc360.com. If you want to work with us some more, just text Taxman at 26786. That's Taxman at 26786. And we'll set up a free consultation how we can 10x your business. So until we speak again, talk to you soon.